Hola, buenos días a todos, bienvenidos a nuestro tercer día de actividades y segunda sesión con el equipo de Toon Harmony. Estamos muy contentos y sobre todo entusiasmados porque hoy vamos a tocar el tema de videojuegos y cómo Harmony, los features que tiene ahora van a ayudar a los proyectos que se están haciendo, pues obviamente en videojuegos en general, pero precisamente aquí en la carrera que manejamos ahí en quinto semestre nuestros proyectos de videojuegos, entonces pues no podemos esperar por conocer todos los nuevos features que puede traer Harmony. Welcome everyone, and Harry, Carlos, thank you for joining us again. I just did a quick introduction. We're really excited about everything that we're going to see today, and of course, later there are going to be some questions, so please, everyone, feel free to start asking. And after the presentation, we're going to have Harry and Carlos check them and answer them, all your questions. So, well, welcome everyone. And Harry, thank you for joining us all the way from South Africa again. Carlos from Canada. And the stage is all yours. I'm going to go to the back.
Perfect. Harry, I'm going just to say a few words in Spanish and then
Sure.
the floor will be yours. Okay. So, queridos amigos de CEDIM, primero que nada, muchas gracias por tenernos nuevamente. Harry desde Sudáfrica, especialista técnico de Toon, mi persona, Carlos Ruiz, responsable de Latinoamérica desde Canadá. Entonces, a ver, hoy tenemos para ustedes un plato fuerte, algo interesante, que es todos los nuevos features para animar videojuegos con Harmony. Y debo decirlo, es la primera demo que se hace para una universidad en América Latina. Entonces, esto es en primicia prácticamente para ustedes. Esto sería Harmony para animar videojuegos, ¿ok? Entonces, bueno, ya empezamos. Harry, you can go ahead.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for everyone for being here. And thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to do this today. So hi again, everybody. It was a pleasure to do a demonstration yesterday of the new features of Harmony 21. I didn't do one big feature or set of features, and that's the gaming. The gaming features, which is what we're going to talk about today. So today's session is exclusively about gaming with Toon Harmony. Now, a little bit of background about that. Toon Harmony has actually been used before for gaming. We didn't wait for 2021 to have our softwares being used for gaming purposes and for gaming content. It has been used before. The only thing is that this year with Harmony 21, we have launched a game-specific set of features. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's quite a lot of talk about 2D gaming. Like, a lot of people are saying, yeah, but there's not a lot of gaming that is done in 2D. 3D is the main platform or the main thing to do games with. That is not quite accurate. If you look at, I'm sure most of you have smartphones. Most of the games that you are playing on your smartphone are all 2D games, even if they look like they're a bit 3D. Of course, some of them are in 3D, but on your mobile device, the games are mainly in 2D. The games that you play also online gaming, those are also mainly in 2D. And also even platform games on console or on PC or on desktop, a few of them are also in 2D. So the market share of 2D animation for gaming is growing, and it has been growing steadily for a while. And so there should be no question about whether one is better or the other. It's just like 2D and 3D for feature films or for television series. It's just a way of, you know, showing and telling your story. If it works with 2D, fine. If it works with 3D, that's also fine. So I just wanted to mention that because there might be some questions and wondering, you know, if 2D is actually used in gaming, and the answer is yes, definitely it is quite a lot. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to take a look at the different things that we can do with Toon Boom Harmony. So let me just do this. Give me 2 seconds, and that's it. I think you can see my screen now. So I'm just going to hide Chrome. Perfect. All right. So I don't need to introduce Toon Boom Harmony to you, but I will a little bit just to also give some context. Now, as you know, Toon Boom Harmony is a software that is allowing you, or allowing artists or studios or broadcasters to create 2D animation content for a variety of shows and variety of ways you want to tell a story. Okay, it is the industry standard in terms of 2D and 2.5D animation. And so it is not surprising that it is also used for, and it will be used more and more for, also for gaming, because gaming is a lot of animation content. Okay, and so one of the most important things that I would like to, sorry, please give me a second. I need to close my window. The rain is coming. Sorry, just 2 seconds. Okay, sorry about that, because it's about to rain in my house now. Sorry. So the animation software that is Harmony is the same that people will use for series, or for you know, television series, or for feature films. It's the same that you will be using for gaming. That means that all the features, all of them that you have for television series and feature films are also there for gaming. All right, so it's important to note that, because it means that people that want to do gaming, they have all that power that is available to them, that was to make animated content. All right, so let's take a look at some of the things that are available. And I know you guys, some of you have used Harmony before, so some of this may be very familiar for you. But let me just run you through some of the main things about Harmony at the core of it. Okay, one of the first things that I like to talk about is the fact that Harmony you can work both in bitmap and in vector in Toon Boom Harmony. Okay, you can paint and draw directly inside of the software to create your assets. That can be your animated character for your game. It can be your backgrounds. It can be your props. Anything that you need within your game, you can actually create it from scratch inside of Toon Boom Harmony. So you can use bitmap tools such as the bitmap brush, for example. Let me just show you here. I'm just going to hide this one to give myself some space, and that one as well. Here you go. So you've got the tool properties over here. As you know, I showed you some of this yesterday. When you are using this one is vector. So let's go into the bitmap layer. Here we go. And you can go into the properties, and you have the textures, you have the settings, you have a whole bunch of things that will allow you to draw directly with bitmap brushes. Okay, so this character here, for example, is painted with bitmap. It was drawn inside of Harmony. Okay, so it's very similar to any other bitmap software that you may want to use. The next one, of course, is vector. Okay, so as you know, we can also create artwork in vector. Now, Toon Boom is very well known for its vector technology, very powerful vector technology. As you know, we've got brushes and we've got pencils. But what we also have is textured vector. Okay, so even though it looks like this could be a bitmap line, when I select it, I realize it's actually a vector line. Okay, so for example here, so let me just connect that. If I use this line over here, I connect directly to this line, and you can see I can change the Bezier handles on this. It's actually a vector line. Okay, so in the Harmony brush, vector brush features, you can actually go either solid vector or textured vector. And then you have all the same settings that you had in Bitmap, except this is also a vector line. Okay, so that's for your textured brushes. Then, of course, you've got your pencil line, which is one of the most popular lines that we have. All of these ones here, rectangle, ellipse line, polyline, are all pencil lines. Same for the pencil line here, obviously, and we have a whole bunch of sets for pencil lines. But we also have, again, textured pencil lines, and this is the same. Now, one of the most fascinating things about the pencil line is that you can change a lot about the lines after they've been drawn. For example, you can change the size of the lines and make them thicker. So you don't need to redraw or erase a line if you want to change its thickness. You can just draw with the pencil line and change it afterwards. What's really cool also is that you can change the texture after. So for example, if you wanted wriggly lines instead of that one I had earlier, and then make it fatter like this, and it will also make the line quite fatter. I can change to any texture that I want to. I can create my own textures if I want to as well, and it will work really well. So again, even though they are textures, you can still modify the lines. You know, it's still a vector line, so I can still have access to my handles. Okay, so all of these tools are still the same. You can still use all of this for gaming. And that's really great because there's a lot of gaming tools out there that will not allow you to actually create the content from scratch. Or there are some that will allow you to create content from scratch, but not to animate. Okay, so let's take a look at what if you were creating your drawings in another software. What if you were creating your gaming characters in Photoshop, for example? Of course, in Toon Boom, you know that you can import a whole bunch of different files. You can import from Scanner, you can import a variety of different images. You can even import SWF or Illustrator files to your library and bring them inside of your project. So you don't need to specifically draw in Toon Boom if you don't want to, but you know that you can. Okay. Now, in terms of images, again, you can import a whole bunch of different images, including PSD, Adobe Photoshop files. Okay, so if you've created your character in Adobe Photoshop and you want to bring it into Harmony, it's absolutely fine. You can import it. So I'm just going to show you here one of the characters that I have prepared for the demonstration. And when I bring her in, you can see there she is. This is a character from the TV show Loud House, and there's also a game out, Loud House Out of Control, and it is made in Toon Boom Harmony, both the television series and the movie also, as well as the game, both all made in Harmony. Okay, so here are all of the layers for Luna. That's the name of this character, and as you can see, it's got all the separated elements that were created in Photoshop that I can bring inside of Harmony. So it's exactly the same as if you would animate this for a TV series. Okay, so you have all of this available. But before we talk about rigs, let's talk about traditional animation. Because yes, people also use traditional frame-by-frame animation to do gaming. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an example here of traditionally animated character. Okay, so remember our little bat that we saw earlier? Here it is here, and I would like to just play it back for you, and so that you can see what our little bat is doing. So there you go. She's jumping around, and then she's climbing onto the gems. Okay, so this bat is animated frame by frame. Frame by frame means that every single drawing is, one after the other, like this, to represent the movement, and then it is it looks like a fantastic animation. Now, again, there are games that are done like this. There's a game out already that's been out for a while called Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is a game that is available on console, and it's available, I think, on desktop as well. It's a beautiful game. It was done entirely in Toon Harmony, and it was done mainly in frame-by-frame animation. It's beautiful, okay? So this style of animation is also possible for gaming, okay? And you can do this in Harmony. So we have many tools that you know already. We've got the onion skin for this. You've got the ability to see. You've got the ability to flip your drawings to make sure that it's working well. You can jump between the multiple drawings. You have got the ability to use the X sheet if you want to. You have the ability to show the thumbnails in the timeline, to change the animation in ones or in twos or in threes. This software is made specifically for 2D animation. So it has all the tools that you want for animation, okay? Including traditional frame by frame. One of the very cool things as well with Harmony is its ability to manage color palettes. And this is very important for gaming, and you'll understand why a little bit later. So color palettes in Harmony, anything that you actually create should have its own color palette, okay? That means that it's a whole set of colors over here, which you can create as many of them as you want to, and then to use that to paint your little character, okay? Either you know where the colors go, and you can just use all of these colors like this, or you can use also a color model. Okay, so you have a model tab over here. You can bring in the color model, and you can use this because this is now linked to your palette. And then you can you don't even need to wonder which color to use. You can just use the colors directly from your model. Okay, I'm sure you are familiar with this. So I'm going to paint one of the frames here for you. I'm also going to use my different drawing layers. We call them art layers in Harmony. So for those who don't know, in Harmony, each drawing can have up to 4 art layers. We have a line layer and we have a color layer. Those are the most important ones. The line layer is where you're going to be drawing your lines, and the color layer is where you're going to be adding your colors, okay? So for example, when I select the color layer, let me actually go into my drawing view here. You can see my color layer looks like this. It looks like blue lines. These are exactly the same as the other lines, except they are invisible and they hide under the actual lines. If you zoom in like this, you can see they are right under the lines, the outlines themselves. And this is very important because now if you want to change the colors and not the line, you can. Now, if you want to make an effect, put an effect on the line and not the color, you can, because they're on separate layers. Okay, so that can be very useful. But we also have 2 more. We have an overlay layer and an underlay layer. These can be used for many things. It can be used for notes or corrections. It can be used for highlights and tones. It can be used for a variety, maybe cutters and things that will hide certain aspects of your character. You can obviously use them, however you see fit. Okay. Now, so we're gonna select the color layer. I'm gonna select the color that I want to use, which is the one for the ears, and I'm going to use this tool here, which allows me to paint the ears. And it's as simple as that. I'll just use that to paint a few things, not too many. I just want to go quite fast here, so I'm just going to do that. And here's the white bit. That's it. As you can see, it's super fast for me to actually use the paint tool like this, really, really fast. And now I can just do that, one line through it. Oh, it's actually, I have that one that's not painted, so I can use this guy and go through like that. And that's pretty much it. I'm done for the first frame, except this is traditional animation. That means that it's frame by frame, and it means I've got many frames here, not just one. So I've got a whole bunch of other frames. Now, one of the cool things about Harmony is that you can paint multiple frames at the same time. Hey, that's magic. Let's see. So if I use the same tool, okay, I just want to put on my onion skin, and I want to see maybe all of my previous drawings and all of my next drawings like this, okay? And now I want to paint multiple at the same time. Let's maybe try the ears, okay? Maybe some parts of the ears like this. So here, I want to paint this color, and I want to use this one called Apply to All Frames. And all I need to do with my paint tool selected is draw a line where all my ears are, like this, boom. And as you can see now, it's painted multiple frames at the same time where my ears went, see? So that's really, really cool. It will allow me to go super, super fast, okay? And I can carry on using the tool like that. So those are some of the tools. We have many more, but these are some of the tools that really will make your life a lot easier when it comes to animating, okay? All of that is still things that you can use in your game content. Okay, so now we have a couple of more things that I want to show you here before we move to the game-specific features. There's one feature which we've had in Harmony for a very long time, which is also very interesting for gaming. And that is the feature of drawing substitution. What does that mean? That means that when you do a frame by frame animation, sometimes you need to, you need to expose different drawings at different times. Like all of these here, actually, these are all drawings that have been substituted. That means that the drawings change. First, it's this one, then it's this one, then it's this one, then this one. You know, we substitute the drawings like that, okay? So it's the same here. When we have the bat on the gems here, and she is now, her cape is flapping, that cape flapping, those are drawings that change, okay? And you can see them, they're animated in twos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? Like that. So that's substitution. The cool thing about Harmony is that you can use the drawing substitution window. You have it here. And you don't need to go and find your drawings in a funny place. You just have them all here. So when you want a new drawing, you want to show a new drawing, you just select the new drawing, okay, at any time. And then it will show you the drawing that you want. And then you can then substitute and show a specific drawing. So this works with the cape. It works with the hands when the hands open. It works with the eyes when the eyes close or open. It can work with the ear. Let's say if she's got like flopping ears because she's a bit sad, you could also just add another drawing to that. So even if your character is rigged, you can still change the drawings and swap them around, okay? And you can do that very easily through the drawing substitution window. As opposed to some softwares, first of all, some softwares don't allow you to add any drawing whatsoever. You can't draw in some of the softwares that do gaming. And in others, you can, but you are limited to how the drawing is attached to your rig. You know, so if you add a new drawing, you still have to reattach it to the rig and so on. Whereas this one, you know, it's already attached to the rig and it will always follow the rig. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to open another scene here. And this time I'm going to talk to you about the tools that are specifically made for gaming. So remember all of the stuff that I just showed you now, okay? That's important because those are the tools that any animator, whether it's gaming or not, will be able to use. But if you want to do game-specific stuff, then these are some of the tools that we have. So first of all, it's important to note that with Harmony, you can work for any game engine whatsoever. But we do have a very specific, what we call it SDK. So it's a set of tools. It's a software development kit for Unity, okay? So with Unity, we have a very specific plugin that works really, really well. But you're not limited to Unity. You can use any game engine. That's because you can export your sprite sheets in two different ways through Harmony. So if you want to use any other engine than Unity, if you want to use Unreal, if you want to use Java, if you want to use all kinds of other things, then you can export to a single sprite export. What does that mean? That means that every single pose of your characters, so let me show you here, I've got it on my other screen, every single pose of your animation is exported on one single sprite sheet. This is also called an atlas for those of you who use these terms, but essentially this is the sheet that is going to be used for your game engine to be able to play the animations, okay? So if you want to use any other game engine than Unity, effectively you can use any animation tool in Harmony. Anyone. You can use traditional animation, you can use all the deformations, you can use all the tools that we have. And then you export to a single sprite sheet, okay? So that's good news. For example, that was the case for Spiritfarer that I told you before, okay? It was made with traditional animation and exported in a single sprite X sheet for Unreal, actually. Okay, so that's one very good example. And then we have game-specific features and a plugin for Unity. So if you are working in Unity, then it's going to be a little bit more easy for you. Now, let me show you some of the tools that we have. First of all, the important one is the fact that in Harmony, you have very powerful rigging features. You know these features already. We have, for example, the node view over here, which allows you to rig a character very, very easily. You have, I know this can look a bit challenging for those of you who have never used it, but trust me, the node view is the best way. It's the best way to rig a character. So for example, here are all the pieces for the face, okay? And all the pieces are all under one peg. So if I want to move the character's head, I can select the face peg or the head peg. Now the head, if I want to move it, you can see it moves everything inside that is in the face, okay? If I want to move the hand, I can move the hand separately. If I want to change the drawing for the hand, what do? We go to the drawing substitution window. At the moment, I don't have many hand drawings here, but that's okay. I can add more if I want to. If I want to move the arm, I go up to the arm and I move the arm. And I don't need to redraw different parts, okay? So that's the essence of a hierarchy, a rig, a character rig. It's like a puppet that you make and then you rig it. Of course, we've got tools that will allow you to go much faster. So if you're using the Unity plugin, if you're exporting to Unity, then we have what we call the game bone, which is a deformation that allows you to change the shape of a drawing without redrawing it. For example, if I want this here to flap around, I've got a game bone on it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here it is. And I can, instead of redrawing it, I can just move these parts like this, and it will actually bend my little piece like that. I can change the direction, and what's really cool about this is I can even pull this and stretch or squash the different parts of my drawing. So it's really, really powerful because it will allow me to really have a lot of flexibility in how I want to animate my character. And I don't have to redraw these. Same here for the scarf, for example. I've got one on the scarf here, and you can see my scarf can then flap around, and I can still stretch and squash like this. So all of these tools are really great for efficiency purposes. Okay, so that's the game bone. And this feature will also be then accessible in Unity when you export this to Unity later. Okay, so you'll be able to access these in Unity as well. And that's really, really good news. Then we have another really cool feature. And that feature is what we call the scene markers. So as you know, when you create a game, you have to create the different parts of the animation. So for example, you can have you need to create an animation for the character when the character is idle. Idle means the character stays still. Maybe he's ready to walk, or is ready to fight, or is sitting down and not moving. But there's always almost like he's breathing or something. Okay. Then you have an animation of a walk cycle, maybe a jump one, maybe a turning around one, and so on and so forth. Your game engine is going to need all of these different animations. Okay. So in Harmony, you can create them. Like here, for example, we've got the idle. So this is what the idle looks like. As you can see, the character is breathing like that, and that's what it will look like when the character is just standing. Okay, so his eyes are blinking like this. The little thing here is moving a little bit, so you can see it's almost like he's breathing. Okay, then you can create all of your different animations, put them on the timeline on the same timeline, and then add scene markers here. The scene markers are going to be very useful, especially when you want to first identify which animation is which. So this is the idle one, this is the walk one. And when you select the walk over here and I play it, it will just play the walking animation. It's on the timeline over here, but it's just playing it, looping it like that. So it's selected just that animation. If I want to show you the pickup item one, I go there and it's selected the pickup one over here, and it looks like this. Cool, right? So all of these animations, the software didn't make this automatically by itself, right? We know this. You were the animators who created these animations. And then you put them on the timeline, one after the other, and you identify them like this. What this will also do is when you export this to Unity, you will just need to do the export one time, and it will export all of these separately into the right file format for Unity to understand. And you won't need to do anything else. They will all be separated already. So instead of exporting to a single sprite sheet, we have our own way of exporting to Unity. And it works really, really well. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay. So the scene markers, very useful, especially when you have multiple animations. And also what's really cool is that, I don't know if you guys know, but when you're creating a game, it's not the same way as when you're creating a TV series or a feature film. You have to create a little bit and then test, and then create a little bit and then test, and create a bit more. So here, this is really great because you have all your animations. You can export them with the scene markers, and it identifies all of them. And then you let the developers test it because they need to do their work on that side. And then you carry on, you create more animations, and then you re-export them without changing the whole thing altogether. So those are very efficient tools to work like that. Then we have another really cool feature, and that's the skins. Now, the skinning is also a concept that was necessary to allow the characters to change. So what do I mean by that? Like when you play a game, okay? When you guys play a game, I don't know, any game that you want, you need to, sometimes you've reached a new level, okay? And your character has gained an armor or another outfit or another weapon, or it's changing completely. Now, the animations that the character is doing, they can't change. Or they can if you really want to, but they should stay the same. The reason for this is that in game design, it's all about efficiency. It's all about how light your game features, your game assets are, so that the hardware can operate your game seamlessly. Even if it's very top of the line, like PS5 type hardware, it still needs to be efficient, okay? So you don't want to redo the whole animation just because the character is changing, is taking his glasses off. So this is where skinning comes in, okay? So skinning allows us to change certain parts of the character without changing the animation. For example, for the glasses, I can select the glasses here, and I can choose to have empty glasses, no glasses. So I just click on empty, and as you can see, the character is still moving. It's still idling with his hand like that, and he's got no glasses on. Everything else is the same. So if I want to change his glasses, maybe give him some funky sunglasses, same thing. The animation is still the same. Okay, so this is the basis of drawing substitution. Remember that? So we're changing we're substituting the drawings, but this time it's a group of drawings. Like for example, for the glasses, it's not just the lenses; it's also the legs here, the arms over there. It's the frame. It's the little bridge. It's the lenses, and so on. All of that is grouped together. But the animation is retained, okay? Because these animations are there. So for example, for the headband, same thing. I can just make it with headband or with no headband, okay? And the animation remains the same. And I can do that as well for the color palettes, okay? Because in Harmony, you can change the color palettes at any time. You know that the color palettes have got a whole bunch of colors that have got their own IDs. And when I change the color in one palette, it changes on one frame, it changes for all the other frames. So if I want to use the autumn colors, I use this palette. And if I want to use the default palette, I use the other one. And you see, I'm changing the color palettes, and the animation is still going. It's fine. I'm not changing anything except just the colors themselves. So all of these features then are very important for efficiency, for lightness of the assets, and also because they're going to work in Unity really, really well. So let's take a look at that. Let's see how that looks in Unity. So I'm just going to open my Unity project over here. Here it is. And here's our little Peri Poirot. So after you've done an export from Harmony, you import it in, you open it inside of Unity, and it will have everything. It will have the project. It will have access to all of these settings over here, everything from the size to, you can obviously put your own lighting that's in Unity itself. I'm not going to show you how to use Unity because that's not what I'm here for, but I'm showing you some of the features that are also works with Harmony, right? You can change the skin, okay? You can change the skins, you can access the different color templates, color palettes, and so on. So let's take a look at this character. I'm just going to play the game here like this, and our character is going to be ready to play. That's it. Remember this animation where it's idling like this? And now I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard, and now it's accessing the different animations that I have in my Harmony project. And guess what? These animations are all exported separately because I used the plugin and I used the scene markers that I showed you earlier. So if you want to use them, you can go into the animations. So I'm just going to stop the game for a bit. You can go into the animations and they're all here. You know, if I look at that, this one is called item. So it's picking an item up. This one's called idle. This one's called idle item, and so on. The walk cycle, and they're all here. And you can use also, of course, what you call the animator, which is a tool in Unity to have all the different animations and create your programming with that. So if you press this button, you go there. If you press that one, you go there. From idle, you can either walk and stop, you can drop and empty, and so on and so forth. This is all the section that you are going to learn in gaming programming. But as far as Harmony and Unity is concerned, all you need to know is that the exports are all there, animation files are all there, and the skins are all there as well. So for example, when I play the game, first of all, I can change the skins. I can change them directly from here. So maybe let me go back to this project over there. I can change them right there. I've got the skins, glasses. Maybe I want, let me just see here. This is the glasses. I can maybe have no glasses for me right there. So it should actually update it in a minute. That's it. Let me just go back there. None. Okay, let's go empty. It should update that, I think. Just give me a second. That's it. So now we've got my glasses there. Empty glasses. Come on. Dotted eyes. Oh yeah, glasses like that. And it doesn't seem to be working. I think my Unity thing has got an issue there. And then I've got the access. Oh, okay, over here. Glasses, no glasses. Glasses, sunglasses. That's it. All my skins are there. Headband, no headband. My eyes can change, big eyes, small eyes. So all of these are skins that I created in Harmony, and now that I have access to in Unity. So what else can our character do? It can go close to the little cube and pick up the cube. There you go. And then move around with the cube like that. Let's also make him eyes, droopy eyes for this one as well. Okay, and then he's moving like that, and he's going to drop them off. Boom. That's it. We can change the color palette to the autumn one. Boop. Very easy. Okay. Now, all of this information is inside of the Harmony project. So you've done some programming in Unity. You can do some animation in Unity, but most of the animation and the drawing and all of that is done in Toon Boom Harmony. So in conclusion, there's a couple of things to remember. First of all, that 2D animated games there's a lot, and it's a real career. You are going to find lots of jobs in animation, 2D animation for gaming. Second thing to remember is that with Harmony, because it's an animation tool, it is the best tool for animating any content, including gaming. 3, you can work for any style of animation in Harmony, whether it is frame by frame animation, or puppet animation, or motion animation, and so on. You can then, fourth is you can use any game engine, depending on what style of animation you want to use. And then 5, we have a very specific plugin for Unity that will allow you a lot of flexibility and to make your game very, very efficient with Unity. And that's it. That's Toon Boom Harmony 21 for gaming.
Awesome, Harry. Thank you very much. It is
Pleasure.
awesome always seeing all these features to animate video games. So I'm going to say a few words in Spanish now. Germán,
Okay.
Bueno, estamos listos para las preguntas. Veo que hay 2. No sé si las quieres decir tú en inglés, y como hicimos ayer estuvo perfecto.
Sí, claro. Aquí, mira, las vamos a poner, ¿no? Este está en inglés precisamente aquí. Perdón. Sí, la voy a leer. Would it be important for an animator to know some programming when it comes to working in video games?
It's 2 different jobs. You have the animators and you've got the developers. You can, of course, it's best if you do know a little bit, but if you can specialize. A lot of video game companies like the specialization, so they may want just the animators that create the content, or just the riggers that do the rigging for the animation, or just the lighting artists that will then do some lighting for the game, or just and then you have the programmers that also are called developers, that will then program, that will take what the animators have done and that will program it in the engine that you are using for the game. So it's not it can be separate, but it's okay if you know a bit, but it's not compulsory.
Okay, thank you. And we have another one here. This is a more technical one. Let me put it here. Betty's asking us, how can you export transparent PNG or animated GIFs?
Animated GIFs. Yeah, so transparent PNGs, it's very easy in Harmony. Let me just, I can't share my screen. It's just in the export options. You'll see that it's a lot easier than before. You can select PNG and you'll select, here we go, I've got that. So let me just very quickly show you here. I'm back sharing my screen. And I'll show you over here. So if you look at the exports over there and you go export OpenGL frame or layout image. So let's go for layout image over here, and you see image format. You go to PNG and you choose either color only or color plus alpha. And then you have transparency. You can even go to 16-bit if you want to, if you need that, but 8-bit is most of the time is enough. So that in terms of transparency there. And if you want to export GIFs, then it's just there, animated GIFs. And the thing with GIFs is that it's a vector file, right? So if you've got transparency on your vector images, then some of them will work. If you've got effects like this, it might not work. So you might have to do that somewhere else if it's a GIF. But there are many other options to do that. But like gradients and textures and things like that. Sometimes with GIFs, it might not work quite well. But yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
It seems like really a lot of features and very easily and accessible. So it's really cool.
Totally.
And we
yeah.
have a final question here. Let me show it in stage.
What are the other game design tools? Other game design tools. Well, I can list a few, but like Photoshop is a game design tool, very much so. You have, you can use most of the Adobe suite actually. You can also use Toon Boom Storyboard Pro for storyboarding the games. You can use Spline. You can use, Maya. You can use 3D Max. You can use pretty much a lot of different things, but a lot of them do very specific things. So it depends on what you want to use, what you want to use it for. And game engines, there's also many now. Unity, Unreal are just two of them, but there's a whole bunch as well.
Great. And well, finally, I want to show this poll that we did. Let me show you here. It's what type of game you want to create. So we have a 2D retro style for the win, 2D but next gen looking, and 3D. I want my polygons. So it was pretty close, but it seems that they want to do. Well, the needle is moving. The needle is moving, but it's still 2D for next gen. I think there's a lot of the retro game that came out with pixel art, and now new artists, new game designers want to do next gen style, with all the 2D tools. So it's really cool to see.
That's perfect. So go check out Loud House Out of Control. It's a very cool game. I know it looks retro, but it is using next gen because it's using all the tools that I've mentioned now, with the deformation and stuff like that. But it's got a retro look to it. If you want a retro game that is really cool, you can go see what is it called again? Inside.
What about Cuphead?
Cuphead, yes.
Exactly. It's a retro one, 2D, and frame by frame. Actually, it's an awesome game.
That's true. As well as Speed Brawler. Speed Brawler. That's also done in Harmony. It looks a bit like Street Fighter, but it's next gen, so it's got a retro look, but the techniques are next gen. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot obviously out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put this here. Well, I think we are just in time, and I think we cover a lot of different and interesting stuff that the students and everyone that wants to do game in Unity or other tools can use Harmony to improve their projects. Thank you so much for your time, Harry.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Carlos, if you have any last words, we're going to see you then later in a little bit.
Sí, en efecto. Bueno, muchas gracias por este espacio, muchas gracias por el tiempo, muchas gracias a todos ustedes y nos vemos en la tarde, y en la tarde también va a estar interesante, créanme, va a estar muy interesante y van a ver cosas que estoy seguro que quieren saber, de verdad estoy seguro que quieren saber, porque les va a dar un poco de proyección a futuro en lo que a la carrera de animación se refiere. Okay? So, Harry, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and for being with us. Herman, thank you. Okay.
Herman, thank you very much. Harry. Thank you, guys. Gracias. Thank you for your time, and stay safe, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the seminar.
Bye bye. See you.
Okay. Bye bye.